everyone, I'm Julie Williams, Program Specialist. Today's video will talk about etiquette, professionalism, and norms for holding your IEP meetings during distance learning.
So we'll hear from a variety of SELPA staff on that topic. We'll hear about the importance of muting microphones upon entering the meetings and how to do that, about remaining engaged in digital meetings although we're physically separate. We'll hear about the importance of identifying, discussing, and sticking to a meeting time frame, clearly defining participant roles in these meetings, finding a quiet and distraction-free environment to work in, closing other messaging applications while meeting, and moving slowly through the IEP process, clarifying the process for participants, and the extra importance of checking for understanding.
Hi everybody, it's Rosemary Nerschel. I'm your program specialist for middle school mild moderate, and I'm here to talk a little bit about turning your microphone and your video off as you enter a Zoom meeting. I'm here in my favorite office space in my backyard, and if I were to come into a meeting with my mic open, you might hear my wind chimes going as a nice little breeze comes by, or your birds. I also live where the wild burros roam, and you would hear a lot of hee-hawing through an IEP meeting. So that's why it's really important to make sure you come in with mics down. When you're invited to a Zoom call, immediately upon logging in, you're going to get this screen, and you're going to want to click on Join Audio. The next thing you're going to want to make sure you do prior to coming in is come down to this bottom toolbar, and you see the mic right here. You want to click on that mic to make sure you're muted. To the right of that is the video. You have the option to have live video of you today, or to have a picture up on your screen at any time during the Zoom meeting.
Hi everyone, I wanted to talk to you about having a respectful presence in the meetings that you're hosting through digital learning for IEPs, either through virtual IEPs or phone IEPs, or however you're choosing to do them. We want to be sure to be respectful of our students and our parents through our presence. One way to do that is to remain engaged. It's easy to get sidetracked or distracted, especially when you're sitting at home, you've got a lot of things going on, but we want to remind you to try your very best to remain engaged during your meetings. Be present, stay focused, and give the meeting 100% of your attention. I know that can be hard. I've got little ones at home with me as well right now, but do your best to be present and help the meeting continue. It's difficult to follow along with an IEP meeting over the phone when you can't see the body language and the process is a little differently. The more you can be present to facilitate the IEP, the more smoothly it's going to go. We want to silence all devices, cell phones, email notifications, and other sources of noise. My 3-year-old and my 5-year-old running around have been silenced at the moment. They're in the backyard with their dad. But do your best to remove all background noise and noise that may be coming from your own devices during the IEPs. So having a respectful presence at your meetings is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Remain engaged, be present, and silence all devices.
When holding virtual IEPs, discussion about the meeting time constraints are of particular importance. It's important that participants understand how long the meeting is anticipated to go, and that we do our best to keep our meeting within those time constraints. Many of our IEP meetings might be shorter because limited access to students could amount to limited access to instructional data. Many of our IEPs might be incomplete. It's important that participants understand that, and understand that we will reconvene once our schools reopen and we have current access to student data and student performance.
Hi, my name is Audrey Butler, and I am a program specialist. We want to make sure that when we're hosting these meetings, roles are clearly defined. The importance of this is that it'll help our IEPs move along more smoothly, as well as making sure that we use our IEP time effectively and efficiently. The facilitator will also make sure that they facilitate parent participation, make sure that parents' concerns are being heard and addressed to the extent possible. And remember, we're in this together.
So my topic is to discuss finding a quiet space to hold your IEP meetings. during this distance learning time. That can be very challenging for all of us since a lot of us have young kids at home. I think it's just really important that you find a quiet room in the house, like a bedroom or an office space, that you can close the door and have 30 minutes to do your meeting and have it be quiet and free of distractions. Just be mindful of everybody in the house and just try to minimize as many distractions as possible.
We all have multiple messaging applications installed on our devices. Outlook, or your messaging apps on iPads, iPhones, whatever it is that you're using. Typically when you get a message, it makes a noise. When that message makes a noise, everybody else in the meeting is going to hear that noise and know that you're receiving messages. It's best to make sure that you have muted or closed all other messaging apps on your device that you're meeting with. And it's best to stay off those messaging apps if you can, so that you can remain engaged in the IEP meeting that you're holding.
You've heard from several SELPA staff members talking about various topics. Together, we are all growing through this process. I'm here to talk about moving slowly. Remember, holding an IEP in this manner is a new process for all of us. However, the IEP process is still the same. There will be introductions of all team members, an explanation of the procedural safeguards, a facilitator and note taker, just like every other IEP that you've had. Make sure you're familiar with the forms you will fill out and review during your meeting. If at all possible, share a draft of the IEP with team members prior to the meeting. Take a few moments to connect with the parent and make sure they understand the process and they have the technology available and know how to join the meeting. Talk with your colleagues for the same reason. If you have any questions, get clarification in advance of the meeting, and remember, the IEP process is the same. Take it slow and have a successful meeting. You will now hear from Dora, who has some important information to share.
Just a reminder, you still need to have the entire IEP team present at your meeting. A general ed teacher, special ed teacher, administrator, parent, and any service providers. I hope you're staying well.